I am Dr. Yasapa. Welcome to the free astrotheology course. Our textbook is The Celestial Ship of the North by Emma Valencia Straighton. This is volume 1, and we're on chapter 10. Okay, Roman numeral 10. This is also the Phoenician Tacros. In Greek, it's the Tau. All right, so 10, which is 9, you'll have to go into C.M. Bay's work. Let me see if I have it. I'm going to give you the page number. This is really important stuff that you need to know. Uh, I'm not going to go through it, but I will give you the page number if I can find where I wrote it in my notes. So just 1 second, scholars. So 10 is 9. That also, this is also speaking to the timeline, modern chronology, the age of the zodiac, the current zodiac. All right, cool. Is it clear? So here we have the Tacros, okay? The head of a bull, the zodiacal age of Taurus, the head of a lion, the zodiacal age of Leo, the head of an eagle, the zodiacal age of Scorpio, and then, of course, the head of a man, which is the zodiacal age of Aquarius. So we see this the four corners. Oh, sorry, not the four corners. The four zodiacal ages when you count from the initiation of the solar zodiac projection and the solar religions. So the house of Israel, the Israelites left Egypt at the end of Taurus, entering into the age of Aquarius. Okay, the ram. Is it clear? The show with the chauffeur, etc. Uh, Taurus, the Israelites making the golden calf. Okay, and Moses made his big mistake by destroying the golden calf and putting up the serpent, and the serpent was symbolical of the ecliptic, which, according to this author, hold on, let me pull it up. Yeah, which according to this author, the author of the Astrology of the Old Testament, or the Lost Word Regained. The Lost Word, of course, is astrology. The Lost Word is also the underlying laws that govern the universe, natural law, okay, which would be of course, the Hermetic laws, all right, and then the lesser laws, etc. This is the lost word of God. So if you follow God's laws, you can do anything. If you want to build a plane and fly in the sky, you can build a plane and fly in the sky. If you want to build a smartphone, you can build a smartphone. If you want to build a device to cool a hot room or a hot house, you can create an air conditioner. If you want to make an engine that runs off of vibration, you can make an engine that runs off of vibration. All you need to do is understand the laws that govern nature, and then you can control them, right? You can do science, create technology, and then use engineering principles to build, all right? That's the essence of what this is saying, okay? And for solutions to problems, you go into the workshop of the mind. Okay, so so the solar zodiac system, when you count back, It has it ascends to preeminence around 4,590 years ago, somewhere around there. Not years ago, 4,590 years, BC rather, 4,590 BC, somewhere around there. So that takes you just below the 7,000 years, right, according to the Bible. Does everyone see it? So that's why this is so important. And this is why you'll see pharaohs like this with the top cross. Okay, y'all? And these are the four corners too, right? There are one, two, three, four, the four corners. And this is so here, and then if you switch that, you get the not switch it, but if you just rotate it, you get the traditional Christian cross with the four corners, or with the four corners, which are the cardinal points, which is the news: north, south, east, and west. All right. So this is orienting the Solarites in time and space. Okay, orienting the Solarites and the solar religions in time and space. All right, and you're not supposed to go past that. Okay, you are not supposed to go past that, because when you go past that, you go into Sabian time. So now let's get into page 161. And we're going to start at the bottom of page 160, okay? When Jacob of the 10 was changed to Israel, of the 12, it was said that the 70, let me start over. When Jacob of the 10 was changed to Israel, of the 12, did y'all get that? So when he was Jacob, there were 10 tribes. When his name changed to Israel, now there are 12. So Jacob and the 10, this is Sabian time. Israel and the 12, solar time. Okay, y'all? So conquest had taken place, and a division and a remix of the stories. It was said that the 70 princes, this is the 70 having to do with Jacob, and the 10 and the 70, which have to do with circle 7, right? The 7 stars that make up the thigh of the Great Bear, today called the Big Dipper, when it made its first revolution around the pole star, was divided into 10 regions, okay, or 10 slices of a pie. And as I said before, now we're dealing with angles and angels, geometry, and mathematics, or numbers 0 to 9. Okay, y'all? That 10 regions were further subdivided into a total of 70. And these were remixed earthly into generations of men, starting with Adam, okay, and 70 generations forward. These are the 70 princes. Now, princes are royalty, right, y'all? Sons of Adam, therefore princes, okay? Let's continue. It was said that the 70 princes were not the children of the true, i.e., later God. Now, let's go take a look at that in a different place. Where? On page 32. Now, remember, we're talking about Sabian times, Sabian reckoning of time and reality, the workshop of the mind, and natural law. Don't steal, don't injure anyone. When Jacob of the 10 was changed to Israel, of the 12, it was said that the 70 princes were not the children of the true, i.e., later God, not a Sabian God, solar God. Page 32. Here we are, page 32. Here at TI is, here it is, y'all, at the bottom of the middle paragraph, about halfway down. This is how it reads. Well, let me show it first. Let me show it. here. So everyone pause this on a replay so y'all can read that. Y'all see where my fingers are? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. So here where I have it here. Pause it on the replay, y'all. Y'all read that carefully. So here's how it reads. The early races being dark, a certain stigma has been placed upon them, and even to the present time, they are thought by some not only to be born without souls, souls, but past redemption. They cannot be saved. And to be excluded, you cannot get in, and to be excluded from the heaven of the Christians, because they belong to a period previous to the entrance of the solar reckoning of time. They belong to a period called the Sabian period, the circumpolar zodiac, Jacob of the 10 and of the 70, the north celestial pole, the thigh of the Great Bear, the 7 stars that rotate around the pole star that was divided into 10 areas and then further subdivided into 70. Okay, so this is circle 7. Circle 7. So Sabian reckoning of time and reality. They were born during Sabian time, and so therefore, they are born without souls, souls, and they cannot be saved. They cannot be saved. Let's continue. All right. The early races being dark, a certain stigma has been placed upon them, and even in the present time, that's 1927, they are thought by some not only to be born without souls, but past redemption, and to be excluded from the heaven of the Christians, because they belong to a period previous to the entrance of the solar reckoning of time, before the fatherhood had been inaugurated. That's why you blacks can't go to heaven. That's why it makes no sense for you to be a Christian. Of course, they're not going to tell you that, right? That's the dirty little secret. Now, this is on page 32. This is The Celestial Ship of the North by Emma Valencia Straighton, Volume 1, published in 1927. So Dr. Yasapa didn't make it up. I just gave it to you. So now let's go back. Let's go back. They were not born in his image. Do y'all see that? They were not born in his image. Whose image? The Elohim of Genesis chapter 1. Okay? They were not born in his image. This is a patriarch, a male, a man. They were not born in his image and bore no likeness to him. Do y'all see that? Bore no likeness to him. Why? Because Jacob of the 10 and of the 70 were fatherless. They were fatherless. Does everyone understand? They had no father. Remember, this is celestial. These are celestial births. And so we're dealing with, let me see if I can find it in C.M. Bay's word. let CM Bay co-sign, or I'm co-signing CM Bay. I guess that's a more accurate way to say it. Hold on. Oh, I brought the wrong book. I brought the wrong book, guys. Scholars. I thought I had it. Okay, I picked up the wrong book. If I find an opportunity, I will bring the cases in. Oh well. But the point here is that Mason's Ma's sons have no father. Okay, all right. The son of the widow has no father. Okay, and she had no husband. That's why she's a widow. Okay, or widower rather. Okay, so they have nothing in common. Nothing, absolutely nothing in common. And why, although YHWH initially was rolled out as a feminine knockoff deity to represent the Great Mother Typhoon in Sabian time, to represent her in the solar zodiac projection. And then later it was remixed to become masculine when they came into full power. Okay, y'all? But anyway, I think it's clear, right? So the Sabian Moors, the autochthonous Sabian Moors, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, were not born in his image. Absolutely not. Because remember, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27 is talking about Han Uman. Han Uman. Okay? Han Uman. And bore no likeness to him. Two different stories. Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2 are two different stories. All right? Genesis chapter 1, Han Uman is created from in a laboratory from the egg of a Moabite woman and the sperm of a chimpanzee. Okay, hence you get Han Uman, which is contracted down to human. Okay, human. Okay, so hue, man, or colorable man, a symbolicum, mankind. Okay, and then human in a law dictionary means monster. And this monster is non-descendable, cannot inherit land. Okay, so this is matching up with the Esau story, two manner of nations. Okay, so let's continue. So the Sabian Moors, they were not born in his image and bore no likeness to him. Okay, or no likeness to him at all, because the Sabian Moors are the substance and subject matter of the law, right? Whereas mankind is an illusion. We went over that maybe 2 videos ago. An illusion. Y'all go back and check that out. All right, go back and check that out. I think two videos before this one. In the old allegory, there were 70 souls of celestial bodies. See? Okay, guys, scholars, celestial. Appointed watchers and timekeepers in the heaven of the 70 divisions or degrees. Remember, circle 7 made that first rotation around the pole star. Then it was divided into 7 regions, or let's say 7 pieces of pie, and then further subdivided into 70. So here it says in the old allegory, there were 70 souls of celestial bodies, appointed watchers and timekeepers in the heaven of the 70 divisions or degrees that preceded that preceded the 72 divisions or degrees. So the 72 divisions that it's talking about are the set are so when you go back, when you go into the solar zodiac and consider the precession of the equinoxes, each year that the sun passes above, so this is March 22nd. Here's the vernal equinox. The sun passes over. This is the Passover or the vernal or spring equinox. Each year the sun passes over the celestial equator, marking the beginning of spring, the natural year for the solar lights. Every year that happens a little bit back and a little bit back and a little bit backward from the place it happened the year before. Okay, and it takes 2,160 years for that progression or that backward movement for the sun to pass over the celestial equator in a whole new zodiac sign. In a whole new zodiac sign. Okay, y'all? And this does not stop. This is called the precession of the equinoxes, and it's responsible for all of what we know to be the energetic effects on mass consciousness, etc., on planet Earth due to the celestial bodies. It's all due to the precession of the equinoxes. Okay, the angles and intensity of the celestial energy coming in. Okay, due to the precession of the equinoxes. So what is it saying? So it takes about 30. Let me read. So each zodiac sign is 30 degrees, right? So it passes backward. No, the sun stays in each degree, rather. Yeah, I said that totally wrong. The sun stays in each degree for 72 days. Did I get that right? For 72 days. Let me make sure I got that right, y'all. I played a video yesterday where y'all can see that. Let me pull it back up. This is a really important concept. I should actually have committed this to memory. Hold on. Give me 1 second. So you'll get this information in the Celestial Ship of the North, Volume 2, somewhere around 4 hours and 6 or 7 minutes into the audio book. So give me a second here. One moment.
System and gives knowledge of revolutions around an age. He traveled a course of the dependent on the constellations or groups of fixed stars have moved away some 30 degrees.
Yeah, here we go.
Knowledge of this subject
there we
and
are.
Truly what the solar force means on Earth. We should at all times which the planets revolve around the sun.
Hold on.
From an occult standpoint,
okay, y'all listen to this.
All life is under sway of spiritual beings, and the planets passing through the different signs of the zodiac become natural centers of activity for them. The zodiac is the matrix of theoretical astronomy and the great wheel of necessity. The groups of fixed stars from which our zodiac is named lie at some distance beyond our solar system, but are in that same path through which the planets revolve around the sun. From an occult standpoint, the planets have affinity with all planes. It is through the planets that the forces and energies of the higher planes are brought through to the Earth as physical forces. The fixed stars are indices of the supersolar force. The sun is but a means of this relegated fire. If we are to understand truly what the solar force means on Earth, we should at all times regard the indices of the supersolar force which the sun conveys to us. The fixed stars are reflectors of the supernal rather than the solar. The rays which the fixed stars emit are darkness. Knowledge of this subject removes the static for astrologers. The rays of the sun do not produce the light we are aware of on our Earth today. It is the reflected influence of other suns that comes direct from the central sun, and striking our Earth at various angles produces the energy of light. Due to the precession of the equinoxes, constellations that occupied the signs of the zodiac that bear their names have moved away some 30 degrees. The constellations or groups of fixed stars begin with the first degrees of Pisces and the zodiac at the first degree of Aries when measured where the ecliptic and equatorial circles meet. The same influences assigned to the constellations used in our zodiac of today are due to the occult property given to each of the signs, a property inherent and unchangeable, and in no wise dependent on the constellations or groups of fixed stars from which they receive their names. Our zodiac is a mystery language and shows the relationship between God and man. Very great reverence was given in prehistoric times to this section of the heavens, and although there are many other constellations north and south, occult significance has not attached to them, or else the key that would have unraveled their mysteries has been lost. The zodiac is the apparent course of the sun and the actual course of the planets around the sun. The Earth, on her yearly journey, passes along the belt of the ecliptic or the zodiac, and the sun is the center of the circle that she describes. Now it is evident that if the Earth maintained an upright position as she traveled around the circle of the ecliptic, the terrestrial poles would correspond with the poles of the ecliptic.
Here it comes.
But they do not correspond because the Earth, instead of maintaining an upright position, has her poles tilted away from the poles of the ecliptic. The points where the plane of the equator and the plane of the ecliptic cross are called the equinoxes. The precession of the equinoxes is caused by the movement of the pole of the equator around the poles of the ecliptic. Each time the sun completes its circle of the zodiac, it crosses the equator a short distance back of the place it had crossed the previous year. Consequently, the equinoctial point is annually falling back at a uniform rate. It takes this point 2,160 years to fall back an entire sign of 30 degrees, remaining 72 years in each degree, and 25,000...
Okay, guys, so it remains 72 years in each degree. All right, I'll play it one more time. So I explained it correctly. Give me 1 second. I'll get to your comment in 1 second. In 1 second. Y'all listen to this again, okay? Try to remember this.
The ecliptic. The points where the plane of the equator and the plane of the ecliptic cross are called the equinoxes. The precession of the equinoxes is caused by the movement of the pole of the equator around the poles of the ecliptic. Each time the sun completes its circle of the zodiac, it crosses the equator a short distance back of the place it had crossed the previous year. Consequently, the equinoctial point is annually falling back at a uniform rate. It takes this point 2,160 years to fall back an entire sign of 30 degrees, remaining 72 years in each degree, and 25,920 years to complete the entire zodiacal circle, and this is called the Great Year.
Okay, so does everyone understand that? So let me take a look at Mr. Hop. Mr. Hop comment is, what were the first 7 divisions it was divided into? No. The 7 stars that make up the Great Bear, which is today, which make up the thigh of the Great Bear. Today, that constellation. Well, first of all, we're talking about Ursa Major in the North Celestial Pole region. So this is a huge constellation. There's a part of Ursa Major called the thigh of the Great Bear. This is what we're talking about. The thigh of the Great Bear represents the Great Mother Typhoon. The Great Mother Typhoon, this constellation, or the thigh of the Great Bear, today is called the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is composed of 7 stars. 3 stars make up the handle, okay? 3 stars make up the handle of the Big Dipper, and 4 stars make up the dipper part of the Big Dipper. Okay, so those four stars that make up the Dipper part is the celestial womb. Is the celestial womb. It also is the four corners of the world, four corners of the universe, four corners of the world. In the solar zodiac projection, it is remixed into the four cardinal points: north, south, east, and west. The traditional Christian cross. Okay, the traditional Christian cross. Okay, so now the Big Dipper can tell, you can reckon or tell 24-hour time, and you can also tell what season we're in. Okay, based upon the Big Dipper, its location in the heavens. So, as the Big Dipper or the Thigh of the Great Bear made its first rotation around the pole star, that was the first revolution around the pole star, and this was the beginning of time. You must remember that there never was a time when man was not. Why? Because man is thought made manifest from the soil. Man has its origin in the second star of the handle of the Big Dipper, which is called Mitsar. Clear? So now, this first rotation, the beginning of time, was divided up into 10 regions, or if you can imagine a pie that's sliced into 10 parts. It was further subdivided into 70 regions. If you can imagine a pie with 70 slices, sliced into 70 slices. Okay, now this is circle 7, which is part of the circumpolar zodiac. Circumpolar zodiac. So the north and south poles, the north and south celestial poles, and in the north, those constellations that are revolving around or circling, revolving around the pole star. Is that clear? So these are the 7 stars. This is the significance of all things 7, 7 days of a week, blah, 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 right? Shabbat on the Sabbath, blah, blah, everything 7s. And the 4 stars that make up the Big Dipper is everything 4s, like the 4 corners of a rib. Okay, that's the significance of the 4. Everything traces back to that. Everything 7 traces back to those 7 stars, which represent the great mother typhoon. All 4s trace back to the celestial womb, the Dipper of the Big Dipper. Let me see. So Mr. Hop writes, what were the first 7 divisions? It was divided into. Okay, so I answered that. Okay, gotta go back and watch that. Yeah, I was inquiring about the original 7 or 70 before it was subdivided. No, it was not subdivided into, the original 70 was not subdivided into 72. That's not what happened. So let's clear that up. So now in the circumpolar zodiac, having to do with the great mother typhoon, on page 60, Jacob of the 10 regions, the 10 circles. I'm sorry, the circle or the pie that was divided into 10 pieces, that circle that was divided into 10 regions was subdivided into a total of 70 regions. And these get remixed in the Bible story into 70 generations. Okay, a total of 70 generations. So the first 7 were from Adam and the first 7 patriarchs. Okay, and then the next 10 patriarchs, and then the total of 70. Do you understand? Now, this is in the circumpolar zodiac. This is the original zodiac. This is the Sabian reckoning of time and reality. The great mother of time, the great mother typhoon, the great mother of us all, the great mother nature, Sabian time, where intense darkness, blackness, was everything that people believe is holy and righteous and good today. Okay, so now that's the original and only true zodiac. But this was remixed. This was remixed into a second knockoff zodiac called the solar zodiac, which is the present zodiac. The solar zodiac, where time and reality are reckoned by the sun sun along the ecliptic, meaning time and reality is reckoned by whichever zodiac sign the sun is rising over the horizon on the first day of spring every year. When you go outside, you look to the east, right? Why to the east? Because the east gate, Aries the ram, Soot the dog star, the only begotten son of the great mother Typhoon, in Sabian time in the circumpolar zodiac, the Solarites remixed Soot, who was the hour hand of the clock of destiny, remixed Soot into a god they called Sebek Ra, Sebek the sun god. And then they put a crown on his head with horns, horns, and they call him the Lamb or Ram of God, who is Jesus the Christ figure, the Lamb of God. Do you understand? So basically, what they're doing, they're taking stories from the original Zodiac, which is the autochthonous Moors, Sabian Moors, history, way of life, okay, and our mindset, and then they remix it, okay? They remixed it into what's called now the solar zodiac, where they're reckoning time by the sun, okay, by the sun. Where is the sun? In which zodiac? In which zodiacal age are we in? Are we in Pisces? Are we in Aquarius? Are we in Taurus? Are we in Leo? Okay, okay. Because this is going to bring in its own mass psychology and events. Do you follow? So they're reckoning time by the sun, not the celestial bodies in the north. When there are other time cycles, other celestial cycles that our ancestors used, also. Okay, like for example, the clock of destiny, which in the north, it's the handle of the Big Dipper or the tail of the Great Bear, which is the hour hand of the clock of destiny. And in the south celestial pole is Sit the dog star. That is I'm sorry, Sit the dog star is the hour hand of the clock of destiny. And in the north, the tail of the Great Bear is the minute hand, the pointer hand, the minute hand of the clock of destiny. Okay, so is it clear? So now what's happening here? So they decided they would reckon time by the sun. Okay, so now that's why the precession of the equinoxes becomes very prominent, because now every spring, let me see if I can show it from this angle. See, every spring the sun will pass. Let's see, the sun will pass over, and then the next year the sun will pass over, and then the next year so the point where it's passing over is moving back a little bit every year. Every time it passes over, it moves back a little bit more the next year. Again, it moves back a little bit more the next year, and a little bit more the next year, a little bit more, of course, compared to where it was in the previous year. So it's moving backward. So over 2000 in the span of 2,160 years, or approximately 2,160 years, the sun will have moved completely through a zodiac and enter into a next zodiac. Okay, this is what the author is saying. So each zodiac is 30 degrees, and it will stay in 1 degree for 72 years. And this is where you get the 72, Because remember, we're dealing with a circle here. So let me explain it again. The Great Bear, the thigh of the Great Bear, the Big Dipper, rotates around the pole star in a circle. That circle was subdivided into 70 degrees. Okay? These 70 degrees are remixed into 70 generations. 70 generations from Adam. Now take that circle and put the circle in the solar zodiac projection. And now we're dealing with the ecliptic. So the sun going around, well, it looks like the sun. The sun is not going around, but it looks like the sun is going around in a circle. Because remember, the ecliptic is the apparent path of the sun. But of course, the earth is making its orbit. Okay? But in any event, it's a circle. Okay, it is a circle. But the circle cannot be divided into 70 divisions. Why? Because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Why doesn't it fit? Well, because the sun stays in each degree for 72 years. Do you see? So 70 now becomes 72. But here's what's interesting. Here's what's interesting. It was, I don't even know if I should say this. There was a time when there were 10 zodiac signs, not 12. See, it used to be Virgo, Scorpio. But at the fall of man, now what's the fall of man? Fall of man, if you're a religious person and that's all you know, the fall of man is when Adam fell, when Adam sinned, right? He, with his wife, began eating the fruit. Man fell, right? Man fell. But the fall of man celestially, well, no, let me not say celestially, the fall of man, according to the solar zodiac, is when the sun, when the sun sun, having reached its highest elevation in the northern part of space, the sun takes on the title of Christ. Now remember, sun is the same as son. Okay? And then the elevation of the sun begins to fall. The sun begins to drop in elevation. It begins to fall toward autumn, which is why we call autumn fall. So man is falling. Do y'all understand? Man is falling. So what is this telling us? This is time reckoned by the sun. This is solar time. So at the initiation or at the point where the reckoning time by the sun and reality became preeminent, let me state it a different way, when the Solarites conquered the Soot Typhonians. That's what it actually was. It was a war. When they conquered the Great Mother Typhoon, right? All of our ancestors who was living their lives according to Circle 7, Clock of Destiny, natural law, don't steal, which means don't injure anyone, and the workshop of the mind, where we create reality through our consciousness. Well, how is that possible? Well, because man is thought made manifest from the soil, and that's another story. Okay, everyone had a birthright, and everyone lived in peace, and importantly, they cooperated with each other. And this science was widely known. There were no secrets. There were no mystery schools. This science was known by everybody. It was a way of life. Okay? So this is the fall of man. It's simply the sun having reached its highest altitude on June 22nd or thereabout, it begins to fall in altitude. fall in elevation. And then fall season comes in, and everyone knows what happens in the fall. The vegetation begins to uh, ripen, mature, fall off, die, and decompose. And in the winter, the decomposition, the nutrients, and everything like that is frozen in the soil. This is the fall of man, solar reckoning of time. Okay, so again, for emphasis, the 72 is in the solar zodiac projection. Okay, it's a remix of the 70 divisions from the Sabian or circumpolar zodiac projection, which is the real zodiac. All right, because the sun stays in each degree, a zodiacal age is 30 degrees. The sun stays there for 72 years. So they decided to say, well, we have no choice but to go with 72, right? Because that's the way a TI is. The sun stays in each degree, which is 1 year. No, I'm sorry, each degree, 72 years. The sun stays in 1 degree, 72 years. One zodiac One zodiacal age is 30 degrees. Okay, so one zodiacal age is 2,160 degrees or a years. Multiply that by 12, and that's going to give you approximately 26,000 years, I think, somewhere near there. Okay, y'all? So, how long does it take for the Great Bear in the circumpolar zodiac to go from point A all the way around the circle and back to point A? The same number of years as a zodiacal great year, approximately 26,000 years. So they just remixed it. Okay, so in the solar zodiac projection, these 72 are remixed into 72 generations. Do y'all see? And it is these who can go to heaven. But that first 70 from Sabian time cannot go to heaven. You are excluded from going to heaven because you are from a time previous to or before the solar zodiac projection came into power, before they conquered you. So you're shit out of luck, right? Because you're the original people. You're ass out. Okay, we conquered you. You're ass out. Go sit down. Period. And if you are a hybrid, if you're a hybrid, a product of the solar zodiac projection, it's my opinion that this is Yakub, that this is the Yakub story, right? And his 12 feminine scientists. If you don't know about that story, read C. M. Bay's work, Clock of Destiny, Volume 1 and 2. You'll find out about Yakub and the Han Uman. All right, and the Han Uman. So this is where the 72 are coming from. Okay, the solar zodiac has its 72, which is a remix of the circumpolar zodiac, which has its 70. The circumpolar zodiac, these are the orthogonous Sabian Moors, the Kemites, the Hamites, Moabites, Israelites, is all the same bloodline. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. The orthogonous men and women who are the rightful heirs of all land, of all resources, and all commerce on planet Earth. Whereas the solar zodiac projection, with mankind, the kind of a man, a symbolicum, a colorable man, okay, as colorable, looks like a Sabian Moor, but it is not. He has no substance, right? He has no substance. And so therefore, mankind is non-descendable, has no inheritance. whereas the Sabian Moors are the substance and subject matter of the law, because land and law are inseparable. And the definition of land is Moors. Therefore, Moors and law are inseparable. Therefore, Moors are the substance and subject matter of the law. They're your civics. And that's the end of the story. So this is an issue about land and inheritance, or just inheritance versus those who have nothing, the paupers. All right, the Neanderthal, the Han Uman. And they came up, Yakub and his crew came up with a colorable zodiac, the solar zodiac. And if you are in that zodiac, you're not in the mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it happens to be true. You know, I've been showing it. I've been showing it that this current zodiac is not the original zodiac, and it's not just me. There's somebody called man, his name slips me. I don't want to say the same. I don't want to say the wrong name. Mm. On the next video, I'll search for it. But the celestial ship of the north is telling you that. Madame Blavatsky tells you that. Gerald Macy tells you that. All right. So the solar zodiac is based on light or white and black. Light and black. Light is wisdom and good and godly. Black is evil and everything dastardly and wicked. Whereas in the original zodiac, the circumpolar zodiac, black or darkness is everything that you believe God is right now. They switched it. Light comes from darkness. And actually, if you listen to the audio that I just played, the book tells you that. The book tells you that. If y'all go back and maybe I'll play it again so y'all can hear it. He tells you that. So darkness is pure light, whereas sunlight, or what we perceive as sunlight, is an illusion. It's not pure. It's not pure spirit, as you would say in religion. Okay, it is an illusion. It is a reflection of the darkness. Okay, but they flipped it. All right, so you're living a lie. You're living a lie, and this is not the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Noble Drew Ali, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said we have to return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, and that's not a religious statement. The mindset is circle 7, clock of destiny, natural law. Don't steal, which means don't injure anyone. And then the workshop of the mind, using our consciousness, using our mind properly to create the conditions or the reality that we want. All right. The Solarites replaced the workshop of the mind with an external deity or external deities. Okay. So let me take a look at these comments so if I can see if I answered everything I can. Hold on. Mr. Hop writes, I was just inquiring about the original divided 7 or 70, but it was okay. So I already dealt with that. He continues to write. Mr. Hop continues. Got that? Thank you, Doc. Felix writes, I'm a little late, uh, but here nonetheless. Welcome, Felix. Good to see you again, bro. All right, Mr. Hop writes, Dr. Clear, thank you for everything. Felix writes, Apollo holding reins of Helios, the sun chariot. keeping the sun on its course, equinox, and solstice. And by the way, well, this is another story. But by the way, the solstice and the, well, let me let it go. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. Maybe another video. Felix writes, hold on. I think that says the aeon. Felix writes the aeon of, I believe, oh, the era maybe. Or is it the eon? Of, hold on. Hold on. Okay, so the eon, I believe, is over, and the eon of I understand is here, is very close. Pisces to Aquarius. Mr. Hop writes, "Wow, never thought of that. That's deep." Felix, wow. What does it say? Apollo and I didn't know age of Aquarius. Understand verse belief. Okay, Mr. Hop writes, thanks again, Docs, for explaining this. It's my pleasure. Felix writes, Mr. Hop, uh, it always makes more sense if it's all, quote unquote, from the constellation and heavens. Profound knowledge from this channel. Absolutely, Felix. You know, these authors are incredible. These authors are incredible. Mr. Hop writes, so does that mean they speed up time with the switch to solar from circumpolar? It means they can do anything they want. Because remember, now I've read, I'm trying to remember what book it was in. I've read that initially there were only 7 constellations, and then they made 10. I have to remember where I read that. And then they made 10. See, if there are 10 constellations, well, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Might be the wake job. when I graduated from high school, you know, uh, my I'm Shata, tribally Shata. Uh, I'm a Moorish American, but tribally I'm Shata. And my my family come from the south, and they moved upward. But anyway, my mother's husband, he worked for the railroad almost 50 years. I never forget it. When I graduated from high school, uh, he came to me. He was a he worked with his hands. He had the rail railroad gloves all the time. He came to me. He said, he says, well, he says, now that you graduated, you got to go out and get you a good work job. Oh, I never forgot that. But that was a good man. His name was LB. He was a very good man, a very kind and polite man. And check this out, y'all. He was a black Muslim. Uh, he was one of the most kind people and polite people that and patient people that I have ever met. LB was a good man, a very very good man. Hold on, but he told me I got to go out here and get me a good wake job. Ooh, that was funny. Yeah, I tell you what. I've traveled. I've been overseas more than 20 years. And one of the things I miss most is ethnic English. I miss birds. You know, because my whole life I grew up, I would wake up to the birds singing, go to sleep, birds. You know, I hear the birds. But being in Asia is not like that. You're not going to hear birds. You're going to hear a rooster. Well, a rooster is a bird, but you're going to hear a rooster and maybe some pigeons, but that's about it. You don't hear the blue jays and all the birds that make the beautiful sounds like I'm accustomed to. I really miss that. And the ethnic English, the different varieties of ethnic English. Yeah, I really miss that. Oh, and pastries, cake and donuts from back home. It's overseas. The pastries, they don't even compare. They don't come close. But I don't know, because I haven't been. I mean, that was more than 20 years ago. For all I know, the pastries there now is just pure sugar. I have no idea. But when I was there, the pastries were actually delicious. So let's see. Um, Give me 1 second. Mr. Hop writes, Felix, absolutely. In response to, can they speed up time? Felix writes, Mr. Hop, speed up time? Not really. A time frame of religions have been, hold on. Time frames of religions have been compressed and expanded at the same time. Look at beginning of Islam, compressed and expanded. Same with birth of Jesus. Yeah, they can do anything they want with these times. You know what? They can easily make an excuse. Oh, we found an artifact. We found an artifact. And y'all know that they can do whatever they want, right? And the people have been so dumbed down and so dependent on other people that they just believe it, right? Oh, he has PhD, right? Or it's Harvard, it's Yale, it's whatever university, big brand, right? And they just believe it. Okay, they just believe it. Uh, Felix writes. He continues. Look at the beginnings of Islam, compressed and expanded some with the birth of Jesus. Mr. Hip Hop writes, you absolutely answered everything, Doctor. Thank you. Mr. Hop writes, Felix, thank you. Felix writes, original Zodiac was from North Pole, changed when Theban was betrayed and became eventually Polaris. Let's see. Mr. Hop writes, what were you about to say about the solstice, Doc? If I get into that, that's going to be a whole different. That's going to be a whole long discussion. Um, Maybe I'll get into it on the next video. Uh, let's see. Uh, Felix writes, Aeon means age. Look into. Why can't I see? Hold on. Look into. I can't tell what that's. I don't know if that says Alexandria. Something worship. Uh, is Eon as in an age. Okay, man. I wish I could make this text bigger for my font. Uh, Alex Aminos. I don't know if that's correct. Graffiti from Rome at about 200 AD. Felix continues. Uh, Damn, I'm Choctaw Creek. All right, all right. Well, Choctaw. Hold on. Traced back to Rich Joe Vaughn, and Vaughn House still stand in Georgia. Mr. Hop writes, me too, y'all. What's up, kinfolk? Islam, Shalawama. Mr. Hop writes, uh, some here at Felix are a family house in Mississippi and Missouri. Felix writes, sweet, glad to hear that. Hop writes, is the solstice fake too? No. Well, actually, actually, it is not. Let me put it like this: it's not ancient. It's not ancient. It is not ancient. And think about it. The solstice runs from the north, runs from Cancer to uh, Capricorn. So the north and the south. The sun at its highest elevation in the north and the sun at its lowest elevation in the south. Draw a straight line, and that's going to give you the solstitial line, the summer and the winter solstice. But above those points are the north celestial pole and the south celestial pole, which are both the north celestial pole is extremely higher or much higher in elevation than the sun is. Do y'all see? It's actually a remix, because if you draw a line from the north celestial pole down to the south celestial pole, there's that line, right? That line. So they remixed it and said, well, the sun at its highest elevation and the sun at its lowest elevation. Okay? The solstitial line. Y'all see it? Everybody see that? Now remember, clock of destiny. Clock of destiny is the tail of the thigh of the Great Bear, or the handle of the Big Dipper, is the minute hand or the pointer hand of the clock of destiny. Sit the dog star in the south celestial pole is the hour hand of the clock of destiny. So they just took that and lifted it, okay, and created the solstitial line, which is the sun again at its highest elevation in the north and its lowest elevation in the south, which is a remix of the north celestial pole and the south celestial pole. So when you draw a line from the north celestial pole down to the south celestial pole, guess what this is? This is referred to as a totem, but also as the tree of life. Imagine a line from the north to the south celestial pole, the trunk of a tree. And then the tree has branches. Okay, y'all, the tree has branches. And the leaves of these branches are the stars that make up the starry sky. This is the tree of life. And the great mother typhoon is further pictured as a serpent or serpent woman. Hence, we have the tree in the middle of the garden and then the snake, right? The snake is on the tree. Do y'all see it? And because the Solarites conquered, condemned, and judged, degraded, and defamed the great mother, they present the serpent as being evil in the solar dogmatic religious belief systems. And this is also where we get the image, of course, I think everybody knows this, you know, the image that's used in medicine with the serpent and all of that. And of course, because the mother, the great mother typhoon is a serpent, then that means her, her children who are fatherless are what? Also serpents or reptilian. A serpent is a reptile. Okay, if I remember correctly, Draco, of course, is a dragon, right? And well, anyway, let's let it go at that. I'm getting off topic. Uh, Mr. Hop writes, uh, okay, the next time, no problem. Okay, y'all. So let's go back to page 160. I want to try to finish up chapter 10. So we still got a little bit of ways to go. But this is a phenomenal chapter. Phenomenal chapter. So I'm just going to start back where we left off, y'all. When Jacob of the 10 was changed to Israel of the 12, it was said that the 70 princes were not the children of the true, i.e., later God. So this would be Elohim in Genesis chapter 1 and YHWH in Genesis chapter 2 in its feminine form, in its initial feminine form. They were not born in his image. This is referring to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 to 27, and bore no likeness to him. Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 are two different stories. In the old allegory, there were 70 souls, SOULS, of celestial bodies, not physical men, appointed watchers. So they were appointed watchers and timekeepers, watchers and timekeepers in the heaven of the 70 divisions or degrees. Okay, 70 degrees in circle 7, circumpolar zodiac, 72 degrees in the solar zodiac projection. Okay, remember the 10 degrees are further divided into a total of 70. All right, so let's continue. Okay, so they were appointed watchers and timekeepers in heaven of the 70 divisions or degrees that preceded, that came before the 72 divisions or degrees. The first mention of the name of Israel is found in the, check this out, y'all, 33rd chapter of Genesis. The first mention of the name of Israel, that's Isis, Ra, and Il. Isis traces back in the solar zodiac projection to Virgo. Virgo traces back to the Great Mother Typhoon in the circumpolar zodiac projection. Ra is the sun deity, right? Remember Sevik Ra, y'all? Il is a sun deity and also Saturn. Both trace back to Sut, the dog star, in the circumpolar zodiac. Okay, y'all? The hour hand of the clock of destiny. The first mention of the name of Israel, Isis Ra-El, is found in the 33rd chapter of Genesis. One more, please.
One more.
Yeah. In the 33rd chapter of 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 represents the testicle and the penis. Okay? 6 represents masculinity, or in this case, patriarchy, because we're talking about the solar zodiac. Okay, y'all? Do y'all see it? Take a look. Remember, 33 is a Masonic number. 33 is, let me show y'all how they get to 33. Remember, each zodiac sign is 30 degrees, a 30-day month, a 30-day month, okay? So 1 degree equals 1 day. The sun itself is 3 degrees. So when the sun enters into a zodiac sign, it'll stay there and exit on the 30th day. Okay, do y'all see that? But the sun itself is 3 degrees. So now you have 30 plus 3. 30 degrees of the month plus the 3 degrees of the sun gives you 33. Do y'all see it? This is why JC begins his ministry at 30 years of age and he dies at 33. Okay. And 3 plus 3 is 6. Masculine in the solar zodiac projection means patriarchy, replacing or overthrowing the matriarch with the patriarchy. All right. In other words, they destroyed their own mother. So let's continue. The first mention of the name of Israel is found in the 33rd chapter of Genesis, where we find Jacob elevated to the position of quote unquote El, E-L, or Lord. You just can't make this stuff up. The name Israel is derived from, listen, y'all, the name Israel is derived from As, Ar, All, or Asar. As, Ar, All, or Asar, the S-U-N, sun god. Thank you. Emma, honey, please. Honey.
Honey juice?
No, honey. Hold on, Scarlett.
Only honey?
Yeah, honey. Like, bees, honey. Hold on.
Wait, it's your order 6?
No, wait. Just let me show you. Hold on.
Yeah, I know honey, but
They haven't. They said
you want a small cup of honey,
Yeah,
right?
they know me. They know what to. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. You sure you know?
Oh yeah. Honey, of course.
All right.
It's popular.
Thanks, man. Okay, y'all. So here we see Jacob is elevated to the position of El. That's very interesting. Jacob is elevated to the position of El. But we Moorish Americans, we know that El is one of our appellations or titles that tie us to the land as heirs. But this is saying Jacob gets elevated to the position of El or Lord. Now that's interesting. I have to think about that. The name Israel is derived from All. So it's spelled Isaaral or Asar, Asar. The SUN, Son, capital God. So the SUN, Son God. And Isra hyphen Il means quote unquote striving with God, capital God. So let me spell this for you. Isra, Isra hyphen Il, Isra hyphen El. I have to show y'all. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Read that. Pause it on the replay. Now, if I was just on here just talking and didn't have any evidence to show y'all, y'all would say I'm lying. A lot of y'all would say impossible, right? You wouldn't believe it. All right, thank you. That's it. Hey, wait. I gotta pay for that, right? But never mind. It's all right. It's okay. You turn off. Oh, okay, thanks. So hold on, y'all. You didn't have more. I don't. You have more. Yes. Yeah. Okay, y'all read that. Let me try to put my finger on it for y'all. So you see, is Isis Ra Ra is again is Isis. Isis is Virgo. Virgo is the great mother typhoon. Ra is the sun sun. The sun sun is Sit the dog star. So now what do we have, y'all? We have mother and son. We have Mason with the hyphenated appellation ill. The Moorish appellation ill. Okay? The Moor to the land identifies the Moor as a heir to the American land. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see it? Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. Felix Fortuna writes, the world tree, the burning bush, lamb caught in the thicket. Absolutely. Absolutely. Felix continues, I've heard Israel uh, and its meaning Isis, Ra and El combined. Yes, it's three. See, this is a common let's call it word magic. Okay. See, these scribes, Bible scholars, these scribes, they create words. It's called word morphology. They'll combine roots and bases, what have you, from different languages or from one language. A very good and well-known example of this is Solomon, the name Solomon, which is compounded of three words. Sol, Om, An. They all mean the sun in three different languages. But the common people, the religious believers, they don't know this. They don't have a clue, right? They don't have a clue. But they all mean sun, the S-U-N sun. All right. See, the sun is light, enlightenment, right? So Solomon was what? The wisest man who ever lived. Okay. So hence we have Isis, Ra, and El. Israel, Israel. Isis, Ra, and El. This is the first time I've ever seen it in a book, hyphenated L, because we Moors will have our appellation, and uh, to show our nativity, we hyphenate Il, Bay, uh, any of the five titles or appellations. Well, some people don't but that's another. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? The Al, the Ills, the Bays, the Days, and the Alis. Okay. All right. So Lord, right? The Lord or the what? Y'all, the landlord, right? The landlord. Let me finish Felix's comment here. It says other examples similar are in Ra. Oh man, Felix, I'm sorry, man. The fonts are so small. Is Ra hyphen something? I can't see it. From Egypt or Serapis? Absolutely from Egypt. I'm not totally convinced of Israel yet. Okay, so Felix continues. The Jews come out of Egypt, so they are influenced by Egyptian thought and process. So it's very probable. Absolutely. Well, Moses was trained in all the ways of an Egyptian, so that meant he spent 40 years in their educational system. He spent a minimum. He went in when he was 40, when he was 7 years old. That was a tradition. If he followed the tradition, right? And it took 40 years to complete uh, let's say to graduate. All right. So we know he was there at least 40 years. Okay, so he knew this stuff, right? He knew it. All right. And there's no denying it because, well, anyway, let me not get off of that. I want to try to get through this. All right, y'all. Striving with God. Wait. Striving with God. Well, God is not an ancient term. There was no such thing or concept of God, an external deity during Sabian time. It did not exist. So who was he striving with? Who was he striving with? Well, it's pretty clear who they waged war against, right? Who the Solarites waged war against. It was those of our ancestors who kept the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which was what, y'all? Science, technology, engineering, the workshop of the mind, and natural law. Don't harm anyone. The lost word. Look at this. The astrology of the Old Testament or the lost word regained. Okay, so the lost word, yes, the lost word is astrology, but the lost word is the word of God, which is natural law. At its most fundamental level, it is the Hermetic laws. The word of God are the Hermetic laws and the lesser laws that govern nature. All right, y'all? All right. So if you and why is it the lost word? Because the Solarites cut that off. See, the Sabian Moors studied and were well versed in the lost word or in the word. It was not lost at that time, in the word. Okay? We were well versed, masters of the laws that govern the universe. Circle 7, clock of destiny, natural law, don't steal, workshop of the mind, right? Create your own reality, maintain your own health, uh, give other people good health through the power of your mind, right? Celestial time cycles. What is this celestial time cycles all about? Is what? Is having a very open mind. Okay, you are boundless. There's a famous author who wrote a book back, I think it was in the 90s. Y'all remember Deepak Chopra? Y'all remember him? Deepak Chopra, famous author from India. He had a book that I enjoyed very, very much. It was called something like Timeless Mind, Ageless Body. Timeless mind, ageless body. This is the perspective. Boundless, timeless, right? We had no boundaries, no limitations on our mind. But in the solar zodiac, you have limitations imposed upon you, and you are disconnected from nature. Hence the lost word, meaning, meaning that you have eyes that can't perceive and ears to hear, but you can't understand because you have been intentionally disconnected from nature by Jesus himself. Mark chapter 4, verse 12. Read it yourself. Read it yourself. Felix writes, uh, the Jew, I've already read that. Oh, Felix writes, I understand my eyes don't work as good as they used to. No need to apologize. Not our fault as we get old. Yeah. And these, uh, well, okay. So anyway, appreciate that. Let's keep going, y'all. So yeah, this striving with God, he's striving with who, y'all? He's striving with the rightful heirs, those who kept the mindset of their ancient foremothers and forefathers, because who are they? They are the Elohim, having their origin celestial in Mitzar, the second star in the handle of the Great Bear. Right? Remember, these are the Elohim, or in today's language, the gods, the Sabian Moors. Right? The Moors are the Moors are the substance and subject matter of the law. So the Moors are the law, right? The Moors are the landlords. So y'all go look up Elohim, and you have a better understanding of. And by the way, God is dog spelled backward. Soot the dog star. Soot the dog star. Soot the dog star. God is dog spelled backwards. And then it goes on and on. There's much more to the story. But anyway, Soot is the son of the mother, right? I'm the son of the great mother. As above, so below, as below, so above, the Hermetic law of correspondence. And this is God. So I'm God. But then so are you. All the autochthonous Moors, we are gods to the hybrids. In other words, we're the rightful heir. We have a celestial origin, right? Okay. So Jacob wrestled all night with an angel. So remember, an angel is an angle of light carrying energy and information. Jacob wrestled all night with an angel or opposing power till when? Break of day. But his thigh was put out of joint. You can't make this stuff up. This was in the place called Penny Ill. PN-I-ill. Pen, or let's say Pen I, right? PEN-I-EL. Pen I-L. Y'all know what he's talking about, right? And he had, quote unquote, seen God face to face, quote unquote, as he passed over Penuel, Penuel, the sun sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh, the hollow of which had been touched by the angel. The place Pen-I-El is found in the heavens at the beginning of the zodiacal sign Sagittarius. Did y'all hear that? The place Peniel is celestial. The place Peniel is found in the heavens at the beginning of the zodiacal sign Sagittarius, and in the constellation Scutum, Scutum, Sobieski. Astronomically, this is a point which induces spiritual vision. Astronomically, this is a point which induces spiritual vision when favorably aspected. And this is in the solar zodiac, y'all. Always at the beginning of a new cycle or age, spiritual light spreads more profusely over the world. So at a new zodiacal age, the spiritual light, okay, first of all, the deity will change. So some primary thread of the solar religion of the era that the zodiacal age that just ended will make it into the new zodiacal age. But because the new age is beginning, the energy is very strong. Okay, but there's a new solar deity. Okay, a new form of worship of the solar deity comes into comes into play with different belief systems. This is what the author is talking about. So he says here, uh, astrologically, this is a point he's talking about Pen-Il. This is a point which induces spiritual vision when favorably aspected, always at the beginning of a new cycle or age of spiritual light, spreads more profusely over the world. He's talking about the beginning of a new zodiacal age, like going from Pisces to Aquarius. And to quote unquote, see God face to face becomes the privilege of the attending seer who has developed his higher consciousness. Higher consciousness, y'all, is higher self. Okay, the higher self. What's the higher self? It's equated to the summer solstice, when the sun is at its highest elevation in the sky, and now the SUN sun takes on the title of Christ. But remember, when the Moor stands up from his sleeping position where his head is in Aries, dogmatic solar religion, and the solar zodiac, and his feet are in Libra, the scales of justice, the scales of Ma'at, he is civilly dead. He's in a dead state. His head is in the east gate. He is civilly dead. When he stands up with his feet perpendicular to his previous position, his head now represents the north celestial pole, hence the higher self. Okay? Hence the higher self. The true higher self is when the Moor stands up, his head represents the north celestial pole, circle 7. Okay, y'all? Circle 7. I'm not making it up. I got this from CM Bay in the Clock of Destiny. Somewhere around page 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, somewhere around there. Maybe volume 1 or volume 2. I've done videos where I've read it and showed everything. When the Moor stands up perpendicularly to his former state where he was lying down, his feet are standing in the south celestial pole. In the south celestial pole, y'all, these are where the principles are. So the highest principles of the universe are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. His feet are standing in the south celestial pole, which represents principles. For we Moorish Americans, it's love, that the highest principles of the universe are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Now remember, we talked about earlier, you draw a line from the south celestial pole to the north celestial. Well, let me not go there, but North Pole, South Pole, clock of destiny. Clock of destiny. Okay? So this is why C and Bay calls us the Elohim. But anyway, let's continue. That where am I? So he continues, the constellation Scutum Sobieski is called the coal sack. Ain't that nothing? The coal sack. Coal sack. Now, y'all, what color is coal? What color is coal? As it is a dark place in the heavens where shooting stars are seen in the month of November. From out of the dark comes these creative, birth giving elements. Out of the dark? Well, darkness in the circumpolar zodiac represents the great mother Typhoon, who is the mother of time and all things living, the celestial ship of the north, brooding upon the celestial seas, right? And what else? Inside the celestial ship of the north is all of the genetic records of all living things. So here we have the coal sack, as it is a dark place in heaven where shooting stars. What did the great mother say? The great mother says she made light, right? She says she made light. It's on page 9 or 14 or something like that of the Celestial Ship of the North, Volume 1. Where shooting stars are seen in the month of November, from out of the dark comes the creative, birth giving elements, light out of darkness, always. Darkness is eternal, it is pure light. What we see as sunlight is not eternal. It is, in fact, also material. Do y'all see this? This is a clever way of presenting through code the great mother Typhoon and darkness being the source of light, the producer of light, the magnificency of darkness, the supremacy, the preeminence of darkness, the great mother Typhoon. Do y'all see it? No historical evidence of these tribes is ever given. Talking about the tribes of Israel. Herodotus, who was born in 483 BC and who was in Assyria when Ezra flourished, does not mention the Israelites and Buckish Bay. Hey, y'all look. And Brugish Bay, rather, and Brugish Bay, that's Bey, and Brugish Bay gives it as a fact that, quote unquote, nowhere do the inscriptions contain one syllable about the Israelites. In the mythology of the heavens, proof is found of the children of Israel and of their belonging to the Sabian beginnings. Now, this is very interesting. Let me finish this first. Their birthplace, the Israelites' birthplace, was that great quote unquote ship of the north, the second star Mitzar. And their journeys were from out of the land of darkness. That's the great mother Typhoon, that's Sabian time. And their journeys were from out of the land of darkness into the light. Into the light would be they left the mindset of their ancient foremothers and forefathers, which was Sabian time, the circumpolar zodiac, and they took on the Solarites mindset, the Solarites way of reckoning time and reality with its external solar deities that replaced the workshop of the mind. When did it happen? How did it happen? It was when Moses came out of the mountain with the horns. Some Bible translators will say his face shone, or his face was glorious. Others will translate it Moses had horns. These were the ram horns. Okay. He saw the children of Israel with Aaron making a golden calf. This golden calf is gold because the sun is gold. Okay, the sun is yellow, various shades of yellow, right? The calf represents Taurus the bull, the zodiacal age of Taurus, or Apis. See, Apis becomes Osiris Apis, which is Oserapis, which becomes Jesus or Mithra, however you want to look at it, right? Moses destroys Taurus, which was a time of celebration for the Israelite, for the Egyptians. Now, remember, these Israelites are also Egyptians. They're just one family of what are called Egyptians now, Kemites, right? Like your cousins in them, or like different tribes. I'm Shatta. You might be some other tribe, but I'm a Moorish American, right? But my tribe is Shatta. We're one big family. Okay. Moses destroys the golden calf and he comes with the serpent. As a matter of fact, uh, if I can find it, y'all, really quickly, I'll read y'all the story. I'm going to look for 2 minutes. If I don't see it within 2 minutes, I'm going to keep going. But it's in the book that we're talking about right now. I read through this maybe a month ago. Here we are. Page 37. Okay, y'all. Page 37 and 38. This is the astrology of the Old Testament, or the Lost Word Regained, by Carl Anderson, publishing, I think it's 1891 or 92, something like that. So hold on, y'all. We're going to start here, the bottom paragraph, all right? So y'all going to have to pause this on the replay. So I'm not able to see. You know what? Hold on. Let me get my phone. Maybe I can do a better job if I can look at this on my phone. Give me 1 second. So we're going to look at how Moses pulled the people into, according to the story. Y'all don't get offended at me. I'm not saying this is true or it's not true. I'm just telling y'all this is the story. It could be Jeremiah 8:8. I don't know. I'm just giving you the information. You have to decide for yourself, right? 1 second. Let me pull this up, y'all. I want to make sure everyone can see this. You, my friend, are being scammed into paying for your TV channels. Here's how you can watch TV for free. No subscriptions, contracts, recurring or hidden fees. Let me let this commercial go by. It's as easy as 1, 2. Hold on. Why I can't skip this? Hey, y'all, like and share the video. What's up? If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Like the video, please. Help me circulate the video, right? Help me get this information out. Subscribing and commenting and liking the video, it really does help, y'all. So it's forcing me to watch this commercial. This is a long commercial, my gosh. Damn. All right, so I got it. So now I'm gonna look at the video. What happened now? My video is paused. So let me see the connection. So let me see if this is better. And of course, I don't have my video has paused. So you can't make this stuff up. Okay, so y'all, we're going to begin on this paragraph here. Can y'all see that? So we're going to begin here. All right. Everyone see it? Okay, let me show the next page. And here. Can everybody see that? Man, my image is terrible. What am I on? Hold on. Let me check. Am I on Wi-Fi or am I on data? Hold on. Yeah, let me put this on data. The Wi-Fi is terrible. Wow, it's a long delay. Okay, y'all. Don't mind my notes. All right, y'all. So let's go through this. So here we go. We're going to begin on page. I lost the page. I hope I didn't show out the wrong page. Yeah. So we're going to begin on page 37 here. All right. So here we go. So let's begin. That they should not confound the spiritual belief in God, with the idolatrous belief in an earthly image. We can well imagine Moses to have been disconcerted at the backsliding of his race, okay, the backsliding of the Israelites when he came out of the mountain, just liberated from a degrading state of most abject slavery, who could not comprehend capital God. They could not see. They had no concept of an external God. Who could comprehend a God they could not see? Could not comprehend a God whose glory was inconceivable. See, make no sense to them because they were Sabian, right? It didn't make any sense. Why? You can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. It's not reality. See, reality are those things that you experience with your senses by definition. Okay? He continues, a God whose glory was inconceivable and so different from all they, as well as the ignorant and lower and uneducated of Egypt, considered as a deity. Nobody knew anything about these external gods. The concept did not exist. He continues, for the knowledge of the true and only God was kept from the masses by the priests. Who were these priests? Well, the first set of priests were the Osirians, then the Ammonians, or the Ammon. What do you call the Ammon? Okay, Ammon, Amen, Amun, Aman, the Ammonites. Okay, so the knowledge of God, what God? The solar God. The solar God was kept from the people. Okay, kept from the common people. So only the priests knew about these solar gods. Okay, just as it is today. And if they, that is the people, would desire to know anything, it was veiled in mystery as it is today by the priest. This was in 1892. Yet, listen, here we get to Moses now. Yet Moses, after all his commandments, made a sad and contradictory mistake. In the example he gave, by setting up the brazen serpent, brazen, the fiery serpent, okay, stars, fire, fire in the sky. By setting up the brazen serpent instead of the molten calf he destroyed. So, how is this a mistake? What does this brazen serpent represent? In the solar zodiac. What does it represent in the solar zodiac? Well, here we go. For after imposing upon the Israelites superstitions, how did he impose upon their superstitions? By giving as a literal commandment from capital HIM, this is the deity from capital God, who dwelleth al one. Okay, so that's alone, right? AL hyphen ONE. Al or all one. All. The universe exists in the mind of the all. The Hermetic law of mentalism. All. Okay? On. ON. ON is what, y'all? The SUN sun. The city of the sun. One only God. That's the remix. That's the remix. Namely, that there should not be an image. Listen, y'all, there should not be an image or likeness made of anything in heaven above, or earth beneath, or the waters under the earth to bow down to and worship. He simply destroyed the sign of the bull and gave the entire zodiac or circle of animals, circle Maserat, circle Maserat, circle in the circumpolar zodiac is the circle 7, right? The thigh of the great bear, today called the Big Dipper, is made of 7 stars that form a 300 and that rotate or revolve around the pole star, forming a 360-degree circle that is divided into 10 regions, that is further divided into a total of 70 regions. Mitzar is the origin of Maserat. And the Maserat is the circular belt around which the 12 zodiac signs are positioned. Do y'all see the remix? Okay, the procession of the equinoxes, right? The procession of the equinoxes every year, the sun passes over the celestial equator at the vernal equinox, further back, a little bit further back than it did the previous year. And over the span of 2,160 years or thereabout, the sun will enter into another zodiac. Okay? So the zodiacal age is 30 degrees. So the sun, hold on, y'all. So as we learn, the sun remains in 1 degree 72 years. And there's where you get the 72. This is what he's talking about. The circle of animals, the circle of animals, the kingdom of God that Jesus prayed about in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 and 10. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Let thy kingdom come. The kingdom of animals. All right. This is the solar zodiac with its solar religion. Now remember, the solar priesthood, they make up the beliefs. So Jesus was praying for his followers to have you in complete subjugation, in complete servitude. Hence, Hence the number 13. 12 constellations, one sun, 12 apostles, one Jesus equals 13. Having complete domination and rulership over the masses. So 13 is a bad luck number for you, but it's a good luck number for the priesthood, for the secret society members, those who are in rulership and being trained to rule over you. Okay, or circle of animals without specifying either. So Moses didn't specify either zodiac when he brought out that brazen serpent. Listen, you know. So Moses gave the entire zodiac or circle of animals without specifying either. So prior to this, Taurus was specified, but not all 12. Okay. For the brazen serpent represented and was the ecliptic, the apparent path of the sun, and was the ecliptic of the path of the sun sun. Still, Moses continued the cherubims. Listen, y'all, because they are fixed and unalterable signs. So do the chapter Freemasons today. The Catholic Church knows well its meaning, and also that of the Lamb, and revived the old idolatry of the image of the cross. And this Tau cross, this is the Tau cross in Greek, which is a remix of the Tau. So now remember, Taurus the bull, solar time, always starting with what? Taurus the bull. Where is the deity, y'all? Where is God? He's between the cherubim. That means where these two lines intersect. All right. So this is Taurus the bull. This is Taurus the bull. This is Leo the lion. This is the eagle or Aquarius, not Aquarius, but the Scorpio, right? And then this is Aquarius. Okay. So God is the central sun in the middle or between the cherubim. There's a cherubim in each of these spaces. What is a cherubim? Hold on. One of the meanings of cherubim is winged serpent, winged serpent, winged serpent. Angels, angles of light. Let's continue. And this Tau cross, which is the Tau cross or cherubim, is from everlasting to everlasting. The head of the bull, the head of a lion, the head of an eagle, and the head of a man, the emblem of our four seasons, winter, summer, spring, and fall. When the vernal equinox made spring at Taurus, summer in Leo, fall in Virgo, and winter in Aquarius. When Taurus was due east, in other words, when the beginning of spring began in Taurus. Let me continue. All right, I want y'all to hear this. When Taurus was due east, so what's due east now? Due east is the east gate. What's due east now? Aries. Okay. Libra and Virgo and Aquarius, south, west, and north. And here's what I want y'all to see. And when, quote unquote, capital God dwelleth between the cherubim, i.e., or meaning the sun, was the center and crucified, or on the center and fixed on the cross. There it is. The SUN sun, the central sun, is at this intersecting line. Okay? He continues. So the sun is fixed on the cross. Y'all see the crucified sun? Y'all see it? Even as now, as was before, and ever shall be. The crucified SUN sun, which is the SON sun, never can be moved. Okay? So the central sun is darkness. And the sun we see in the sky is reflecting darkness as light, having origin from the darkness. This is how our ancestors saw it. Okay? But anyway, let me show y'all this again. So y'all take a look at that. Okay? So according to this author, Moses, knowingly or unknowingly, whether this is Jeremiah 8:8 or not in the Bible story, y'all decide for yourself. I know this is a touchy issue. The brazen serpent represented the ecliptic. All right? And Moses taking the Israelites into the mindset of the Solarites. Okay? All right. So let's see. Uh, uh, Felix writes, Zeus. Zeus sows Dionysus into Zeus' thigh to birth Dionysus. Yes. Moses and bronze serpent or staff, and it gets destroyed. 13 moons in 12 months need to fit into a 19 or 20-year cycle to synchronize movements of the SUN sun and moon. All right, y'all. Yeah, I have a friend who, well, okay. So let's see, back to page 161. Back to page 161. So always at the beginning of a new cycle or age, or spiritual light spreads more profusely over the world, and to quote unquote see capital God face to face becomes the privilege of the attaining seer who has developed his consciousness. So that means the man or woman who has been able to rise from lower self to higher self, or from a devil to the Christ, right? The constellation Scutum Sobiski rather, is called the coal sack, as it is a dark cloud. Oh, we already read that. Let me skip down to the next paragraph. Yeah, I remember where we're at right now. Oh, we're on Bruggish Bay. Let me show y'all this. Do y'all see the bay where my fingers are? Everybody see that? So bay is one of the appellations that moors us to the land as the rightful heir. Okay? And without that, you have no birthright. Okay, you have no birthright. So this is why we Moors proclaim our nationality or declare our nationality on the public record. We terminate contracts that we have with fictions, corporate fictions. We terminate those contracts because those contracts rob us of our birthright. So this is the civics of it. This is the civics of it. And you become subject to the Christian black codes. You will fall under the jurisdiction of the Christian black codes. Now you understand why it's called Christian, because you can't go to heaven. You ain't got no soul. Your past redemption, you cannot be saved. Black as in you being from a time previous to the patriarchy, previous to the solar zodiac projection. So therefore, you're under the jurisdiction of the Christian black codes because the Solarites conquered the great mother typhoon, right? And now pale, pale, or the illusion of light, a colorable system, is now ruling. Do y'all see? Felix writes, cycles of moon is different than cycles of sun. Look this up. They have uh, a sync every 19 and a half years. Yeah, you're right. So our ancestors descended from keeping time by the sun, and then they added keeping time by the moon. And this is where the Israelites get, the keeping time by the moon. Okay, and the moon deity, YHWH and all of that. All right, the feast days and all of that. So where are we? Okay, so let's continue. No historical evidence of these tribes is given. Herodotus was born in 483 BC, and who was in Assyria when Ezra flourished. Does not mention the Israelites. So Herodotus doesn't mention the Israelites. And Bruch Bey gives it as a fact that, quote unquote, nowhere do the inscriptions contain one syllable about the Israelites. In the mythology of the heavens, proof is found of the children of Israel and of their belonging to the Sabian beginnings. Their birthplace was the great, quote unquote, ship of the north, and their journeys were from out of the land of darkness, out of Sabian time, out of the circumpolar zodiac, into the light, into the solar zodiac projection. This is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us to return to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, which is Sabian time, the circumpolar zodiac. Okay? All right. Or mythologically, out of night into day, out of night into day, out of Sabian time into solar time, into bondage, into bondage, into being totally disconnected from nature and natural law. Felix writes, uh, uh, Felix writes, sorry, not the good doctor. Look it up at Mr. Hop. Look it up. Okay. Okay, y'all? So if we came out of darkness into the light, if we go back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, what is this telling us? It's telling us to leave the light and go back to the darkness. This simple logic, very simple logic. Leave the solar zodiac leave the solar religions and go back to Sabian time. Go back to the circumpolar zodiac. Go back to Circle 7, Clock of Destiny, Workshop of the Mind, Natural Law, Don't Steal, which is the same thing as saying don't injure someone. Celestial time cycles, right? A boundless perspective, okay? A universal perspective. Science, technology, engineering, right? Law, etc. The 7 liberal arts. Okay, y'all. Felix writes, I know the good doctor knows. Ah, okay. All right, cool. So let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. Where am I? In the mythology of the heavens, proof is found of the children of Israel and their beginning. I'm sorry, and the children of Israel and of their beginning in the Sabian. I totally messed that up. Where am I? Hold on. Let me try it again. In the mythology of the heavens, proof is found of the children of Israel and of their beginning to the Sabian beginnings. Their birthplace was that great ship of the north, and their journeys were from out of the land of darkness into the light, or mythologically, out of night into day. I got to look something up, y'all. Hold on. I just had a thought. I want to. I want to see if there's anything to my thought. Give me 1 second. Ah, here we are. First Peter 1, First Peter 1, chapter 2, verse 9. What does it say, y'all? The NIV. What does it say? But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, capital God, special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you where? Out of the darkness into his wonderful light. This is the worst thing that ever happened to us. But do you see how romantically they presented it? See how romantically they presented it? First of all, there was no external deity to call you. More importantly, or equally important as that, is that light is not eternal. Light is not eternal. We get this from this same book that we're studying right now. Light is not eternal. Light is an illusion. Can you imagine that? You give your whole life for an illusion. You find out at the end of your life that it was all an illusion. Imagine how you would feel. So this is talking about the celestial origins of the house of Yasharallah, the Sabian origin, darkness, being everything that you would associate with God and holiness and goodness now. And us being conquered by solarites, people who reckon time by the sun. These are actually people who wanted to rob you of your birthright and put you in slavery and totally change how you perceive the world around you by changing that which is most fundamental, which is what? Time. Changing time. So instead of us now telling time by the stars, we're going to tell time by the moon. And we're going to put limits on your mind. See, if you're unlucky and you're the masses of the people, the limits or boundaries put on your mind are dogmatic religious beliefs. Y'all see? For the solar zodiac people, the people who are lucky enough to either be born in a situation where they get to go into the mystery schools, or you discover that these dogmatic religious beliefs have their origin in the solar zodiac. See, now you're limited to, your mind is limited to the sun along the ecliptic. Do y'all see it? Of course, natural phenomena as they relate to the seasons. So, for example, the feast days. So, this is a curse. Okay, these people wanted to steal the birthright, rob you of your land, your possessions, and even your liberty and freedom. And this is how they did it. They called themselves Solarites. So out of the darkness into the magnificent light. Yeah, the light is magnificent for those who are ruling, but their heaven is your hell and my hell. Do y'all see it? That's First Peter chapter 1, verse 2 and 9. This is civics, y'all. For the masses, this is religion. But for the learned, we're looking at civics. We're looking at law. You can never be a Christian and expect to have your birthright. So let's continue. The story of the Exodus was common property to all nations and can be found in the ancient book of Enoch, which is called the book of revolutions of the luminaries of heaven, and is the history of the Sabian, lunar, and solar cycles of time, from the earliest known down to the precessional periods belonging to astronomical reckonings, or from the circle of the 24-hour period to the great cycle of 26,000 years. He's talking about a zodiacal great year, right? So from a 24-hour day all the way up to a 24-hour period. So this is the book of Enoch, the revolutions of luminaries of heaven, and is the history of the Sabian cycles of time, lunar cycles of time, and solar cycles of time. So everybody get that book. From the earliest known down to the processional period. What processional periods? The procession of the equinoxes that we just talked about, right? So let me skip. Okay, so the book of Enoch is filled with secrets concerning the heavens and with allegories that have been turned into history, In the Egyptian, quote unquote, book of the dead, these tribes and children are introduced to, I'm sorry, these tribes and children are introduced as a solar allegory. This is in the book of the dead. Their home of bondage was located in the northern region. When Moses came from Egypt, he was a full initiate with knowledge and wisdom of the mysteries, which were of the heavens. The circle of the Exodus, isn't that interesting? The circle of the Exodus was both solar and zodiacal. and represented the wanderings of the children of Israel. Gerald Macy states that it is apparent that had the journey of the Israelites been a real journey, the Israelites at Mazarath would have almost described a complete circle to a point at Baal-Zephon. So, y'all, Baal, that would be the S-U-N, son, and then the next word would be Zephon, right? So a compound word. The place of their departure. This circular movement being zodiacal. So let me show y'all that. So circle, of course, that is talking about the circle 7 and the remix of the Mazara, right? So pause it on the replay. Pause it on the replay. All right, y'all. Let's stop right here. So we'll pick it up next class on page 162. Let me check this out. Mr. Hip Hop writes, "Oh, I think the Mayans uh, did that sync the best. Thanks anyway." Felix writes, "Mayans made it easy to understand with the Baktan, but same as will within will and such." Felix writes, "If ancient culture is moon worship and need to link with solar, then sometimes 12 moons, sometimes 13 moons, then moon god goes, then then comes back and sync with solar god every 19.5 years." Okay, y'all, so we're going to pick up on page 162 next class. I'm enjoying this. See, the really exciting stuff comes when you begin to apply this knowledge to civics, okay? Assalamu alaikum, Islam to all the Moors, Shalom. I'll see y'all in about 12 to 24 hours. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Y'all remember, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't shared one of these videos at least once, go ahead and share it now. Everybody liked the video, everyone subscribe, and I would appreciate it if y'all would share it to help the video get to more people. Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Islam, I self-law, and master.